early on, we knew that our son had some learning challenges. Even at age 2 and 3, he had difficulty with language, vocabulary, and we had him seen by speech experts. And so he started in the regular path. I think it's ESCE, they say. He had a year of that. He had pre-K or kindergarten, and he always had special services that went through that. But it really wasn't until second grade that we kind of went, this just isn't working very well. And that's when we discovered LMA. So in second grade, my son's classroom was a really overwhelming experience. He did not learn very much. There were kids running around that had behavioral issues. There were bright kids that the teacher was really teaching to, and he was just lost. He often looked bewildered. He looked overwhelmed. I remember watching him ask the teacher a question about how to write something that was on the board, and she just said, "Oh, copy it." And it was very clear he had no idea what he was doing. He was in the special ed resource track, and for us, the thing that probably was our deciding point was meeting with the resource teacher, and our son really was having difficulty even recognizing basic letters. And the resource teacher said, "We will just kind of pound it in him, and we'll go over this over and over and over and over again until he gets it." And I remember my husband and I looking at each other thinking, this is not really what learning could be for him, because that wasn't working so far. It probably was not going to be successful. So we began to say, this is not going well, but we didn't really know very much about LMA until we discovered LMA on the internet, and came to do a visit, and it was really a wonderful visit. I pulled my son out of this huge chaotic classroom, and he came to LMA for a day, and he was greeted, and people invited him to watch, to participate. The classes were small. He found some friends, and at the end of the day, we walked out, and the first thing he said to me is, "Mom, I really like this school." And for me, I don't think he ever could say that about a school before. So that was a deciding point. We decided to move him to LMA, and he's been here ever since. Oh, wow. That's a huge topic to think about because there are so many differences. There are advantages and disadvantages. LMA is a very small school. So, wonderful advantage that he can have a very small teacher-student ratio. He can't hide. The teachers know him. They know what his challenges are. He can ask for help, and he can be known as a learner. I mean, he really, people care about him learning material. It isn't just write something from the board and we'll say that you know how to write. The disadvantages, LMA, because it's a small school, doesn't have a football program and doesn't have a band and doesn't have some of the other bigger things that big schools do. I think the benefits outweigh the disadvantages hugely. And we have found ways for our child to still be active and do sports and do artistic things outside of school in a way that is meaningful and fun for him. So it's really been a win-win. Wow. Well, in second grade, my son did not know very many letters. My son is now reading whole books at nighttime. My son is now reading Dave Ramsey books. He didn't know the alphabet in second grade. And I understand that there's growth, but I don't think we were ever so sure that he would get to that point. So, and he likes school. He doesn't, I'm not sure that I would have a son even in school at this point. I think he would have become so resentful of not being able to keep up and feeling like he's different. Here at LMA, he loves school. He likes going to school every day. He likes to volunteer. He does stuff with friends after school and on the weekends. I think he's developed confidence in himself. And he's also realistic. I mean, he knows he has learning challenges, and he doesn't feel bad about that. I mean, not to the point where he feels like he doesn't like school. He knows he has learning challenges. He knows he needs to learn in different ways, and everybody talks about that very openly here. And the teachers and the other students kind of help each other with it. So there's a community here, and that's very different than a large public school where I think kids often just kind of get pushed from grade to grade without really knowing or caring about whether they learn things.
What was the biggest challenge you faced when you decided to transfer your child to LMA?
I was scared. I was really scared. My husband was very confident. He literally went into the second grade class where my son had been and picked up all his stuff, told the teacher he was leaving, and out the door he was to LMA. I had a lot of reservations thinking, did we do the right thing? Maybe we should have kept him in public school. And is this going to be okay? And so my biggest challenge was going, is this going to be right? But really, after a very short period of time, we knew it was right. I mean, I think our son knew it was right before we did. He liked it. He wanted to come to school. And so once we kind of figured out what was going on, and it felt like the right choice, the absolutely right choice, I would do it again in a heartbeat. He calls it his school. He wears the clothing. He proudly tells people, and when they say, "What is LMA? I never heard of that before," he's kind of a little salesperson for LMA. He really likes this place, and I think he feels very good about it. He feels like he has peers, and I think he truly, genuinely cares about the staff, the teachers, the administrators. I think he sees them as helpful adults to help him navigate things, and I think that trust is huge. He would tell anybody, I think, if he was here, that LMA is a great place to go to school, and we intend for him to go all the way through high school in this. And I would tell any parent who has interest or thinks LMA might be a possibility to, even if it's a little scary thinking about moving your child early into a small private school, well worth it, tremendously worth it. I would do it again in a heartbeat.